Hey everybody, welcome to another episode focusing on The Legend of Zelda for Wii U. As some of you may already know, Mr. Aonuma released a short video yesterday through Miiverse and it devastated the entire Zelda community. Aonuma didn't come out and say that The Legend of Zelda for Wii U will be delayed, but he said that a 2015 release date will no longer be a priority, and that we shouldn't expect to see it at E3 either. Yeah, stings, doesn't it? It's already been 4 or 5 years since the last original home console title, and who knows, if they're starting from scratch, it could be another 4 or 5 years. Speaking with the other Zelda YouTubers, and looking around on the internet, scrolling through forums, hearing everybody's thoughts, I've seen a lot of speculation as to what this could mean, and how it could affect the future for Zelda Wii U. So let's go over some of the possible situations or reasons behind Nintendo's announcement. Okay, first, I think the Zelda for Wii U was nearing its completion, and beta versions of the game were sent to testers. If the game was to be released within this year's end, then this will fit perfectly. Maybe the majority of the testers played the game, or at least the parts that were playable, and just didn't like it, or Nintendo didn't get the feedback from the testers that they were expecting. So they're having to basically rethink their ideals for the game, and either use the base of what they have to make a new version, or completely start over. I don't think the later of the two is possible, considering it would mean we wouldn't see another Zelda game for another 4 or 5 years. And I seriously doubt The Legend of Zelda is going to turn into The Last Guardian, or Final Fantasy Versus 13. Second, the Nintendo NX was just announced. We heard rumors of this console a while back, codenamed Nintendo Fusion, which falls in line with what people think the Nintendo NX will be, or rather, the Nintendo Cross, which would be a mix or a cross between a portable handheld system and a new home console system. Sort of like combining the Nintendo 3DS and the Wii U. I'll get into the details on this and a little more on a future video. And you may be asking, what does this have to do with Zelda or Wii U being delayed? And well, everything. What if Nintendo sees Wii U as a failure? It was promoted as a cheaper console that wouldn't draw much power and could run silently and unnoticeable. Nintendo thought consumers would flock to this, and well, it didn't really help them out. The Xbox One is leaps and bounds more powerful, but only $50 more. And the PlayStation 4 is even more powerful, and is just another $50. People look at the price, and if you're already spending $300 on a new console, it's not even going to be a second thought to spend a little extra to get a much more powerful system. A system that developers actually want to make games for. So Nintendo is looking at the Wii U as the next Dreamcast, and we all know how that turned out for Sega. But instead of pulling out of the race completely, they're just switching strategies and are learning from their mistakes of the Wii U. So they're pushing a new console, a more powerful console, the Nintendo X or Nintendo Cross. They're taking what they have done with Zelda on the Wii U, which they are quoted in saying it pushes the Wii U to its limits, and rebuilding it to work on the next generation console. Maybe their ambition for Zelda Wii U honestly couldn't work on the Wii U, and instead of lowering the detail of the game, or removing certain gameplay mechanics, they're just going to build upon them, and make them better, and even more detailed, while at the same time adding even more to the game, to make what they are calling the ultimate Zelda game. One example of this, when working on Ocarina of Time, Miyamoto said one thing he wanted to do was have horseback combat, but couldn't due to hardware limitations. The Nintendo 64 simply didn't have enough processing power to allow Link to swing a sword while riding his horse. So that is why we've seen so much of it within Twilight Princess. Maybe Nintendo had several ideals for Zelda Wii U that the Wii U just couldn't handle. This is a stretch, but I'm only using it as an example. Remember the fight in Skyward Sword where you chased the whale on the back of the Loftwing? Well, imagine an enemy like Volvagia chasing you through Hyrule while you're flying away on a Loftwing, and it's shooting fire at you, missing, and burning the land beneath you. I mean, how much more epic could you get? And we've already seen an example of Link being chased while the environment is destroyed and caught fire. Maybe Nintendo wanted to expand on this, but simply couldn't because of a chugging frame rate on the Wii U, and instead of scrapping the idea, They're simply moving the project to a more powerful system by making the most anticipated Wii U title ever a day one release for Nintendo's new console. This would force sales of the new console above and beyond what the Wii U dreamed of. Release it with a full 3D Mario, such as Super Mario Galaxy 3, Zelda Wii U, and even a unique Metroid game, all on day one. It will convince everyone to buy the new system, even if they already own the Wii U. They could turn their loss of profits around, and all of the people waiting until Zelda Wii U launches to buy their Wii U will be able to just buy the new system on that day. Then if they get enough systems sold, and it's powerful enough, third parties will actually be begging to work with Nintendo instead of just avoiding them. One last thing I would like to add to this, Nintendo has stated in the past that they were drawing influence from Skyrim's open world concept. The new Assassin's Creed came out and seamlessly blended multiplayer and single player within the storyline. Maybe Nintendo was drawing from this in ways to work in multiplayer for Zelda Wii U. Another open world sword combat focused game is coming out as well, The Witcher 3, which is going to be the game that holds many of us over until Zelda Wii U releases. Maybe Nintendo is going to draw inspiration from these games as well. It's a long shot, but with both having vast open worlds and hopefully dynamic NPCs, it would help them with their ideal of the ultimate Zelda. Moving on to number 3, let's just say the Wii U can handle everything Nintendo is throwing at it, and they don't want to limit themselves. Usually they'll come up with tons of ideas for one game, they'll only use a couple of them, and have to reiterate on the other ideas in a future game. This can be seen with Zelda Ura, the expansion for Ocarina of Time. They stated some ideas were reused in Majora's Mask, such as the time cycle, and others made their way into Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. So with Zelda Wii U, instead of making one game for the console and reusing the leftover ideas for another Zelda Wii U title, they want to just make the ultimate Zelda game. So maybe they're looking at all of the past Zelda games and picking out their favorite things, using it as a base for Zelda Wii U, and building upon it with new ideas and new gameplay mechanics. On top of this, they're looking at everything they have done in Zelda Wii U and adding even more. Look at the water to the west and the white area to the north of the map. Maybe they have finished almost everything in the visible map we can see and just want to add even more. What if we're able to hop on a boat or a loft wing and make our way past the map to other islands with their own NPCs, their own side quests and dungeons? This may sound silly or just speculation, but Twilight Princess used a cannon to launch Link to a new unseen area. So just think about that for a moment. Honestly, at this point, we're completely unsure of what Zelda Wii U will be. We don't even know if it will be on the Wii U. Maybe going with my second theory, it will be a launch title for a new system, or be a cross-platform title like Twilight Princess on the GameCube and Wii. Zelda Wii U will be a cross-platform title on the Wii U and the NX. Everything we have seen so far would basically be looked at as beta footage now. Who knows if anything we have seen so far will even show up in the game. If they're just adding a few dungeons, land masses, and filling out the game with more content, we will see its release in 2016. If they're scrapping most of all of it, we may be waiting until 2017 or even beyond. If it is just extra content though, why doesn't Nintendo do like every other developer and release what they have finished with everything else showing up as DLC? I mean, other Wii U games have had DLC release months after the game finally came out. I could keep going on and on with ideas, theories, speculations, questions, and everything for hours and hours. Just remember, delays suck at first, but in the end, it's always for the best. It just ensures that you will get the best product possible, and Nintendo isn't making shortcuts for you to get the Zelda game that you deserve. Zelda for Wii U is their last big game to push sales. So if they're delaying it, it has to be for a good reason. They've probably already lost tons of investors over the announcement. So for whatever reason they came to this decision, it will only mean that you will have the best Zelda game that you have ever dreamed of playing. And it won't turn out like Drive Club or a Master Chief Collection situation where the games were basically unplayable for thousands of people. But I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you think this means for Zelda Wii U? Or as it seems, Zelda for Nintendo Cross? If you like this video, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and as always, thank you for watching.